All right, we're back to the car. I don't know if you watched the first part where I couldn't find my phone. I found my phone. Crazy is like, where's your phone? I need your phone for a second. I'm like, I'm looking in my pockets. I'm like, I don't know, where is it? And then I'm trying to think, where did I leave my phone? But anyway, here's my phone. You're watching it. So let's go back to the S550 that was towed here a couple of hours ago. The guy called me yesterday and said that he had a problem. Car is at the shop. They're working on it already for a few months, and they can find out what's going on with the car. He towed the car over here. Car got here about 2 hours ago, and I haven't done a whole lot on that. I was just looking at the horrible condition it came in. So if you guys own a shop and you do work on the car and the customer doesn't want to pay, at least put everything back together. Be nice to the next technician that's going to suffer from this car. But this car came in, doesn't have any communication, zero. I'll show you, for example. Hold on one second. I got a charger connected on the charging socket just to make sure that I got power. That's how you do it when you try to do a quick test on the S550. On the 07, you got two batteries. You got the starter battery on the front. And thank you very much. Appreciate the comment, buddy. But you got the charging, you got the starting battery on the front, and you got actually the supplemental battery on the back. This is where the supplemental battery is. And by the way, this is how it came in. A disaster. Brackets are missing, all kind of stuff. They bend different brackets. What, the driver's side? All right, I think I reestablished communication. Sorry, lost you for a second. I got to try and stay closer to the Wi-Fi. But anyway, the supplemental battery is on the back, and there is a disaster, all kind of wires. I don't know if you saw it or you didn't see it. But a bunch of different wires. They opened the fuse boxes, the sands. They tried to probably check continuity or whatever they tried to check. One of the things that immediately I noticed, and I keep on stretching about it in every video that I have, is to make sure you clean the drains, clean the drains, clean the drains. Don't say I didn't say it, clean the drains. You see this drain right here? It's clogged. And water that comes down from the windshield is supposed to drain from here, and then you got the catch basin down there. There's a little channel that would drain the water down from here. When these are not open and the water can drain from here, they gush over that cover, and when they gush over that cover, they go straight into the signal acquisition and actuation module. This is your signal acquisition, this is your fuse box, both together about, I want to say about $1,600. Extremely expensive. All it takes is a little blower to blow it if you live under trees and stuff like that, and you save yourself that money. So the other repair shop, whomever they are, they supposedly replace that, and then they say, oh, we can't program the signal acquisition module. So that's how the guy got to a point that he found actually found my YouTube, and that's how he found our shop. He came from about 100 miles away from here. But anyway, I can also see signs of water and debris inside the container that contains the signal acquisition module, and that's definitely going to cause a problem. One thing that the guy didn't do, he replaced the signal acquisition module. He didn't replace the fuse box that sits on top of the signal acquisition, and you can see that there is water signs here. So if water got into this one is fried. This is probably not good too. And he replaced the SAM, and he put it on a bad fuse box, which might maybe burn SAM again. So also, you know, if you do a job, make sure you do it right. Don't try to save. This car is one of the things I tell my customers. I'm going to turn around to me for a second. But one thing that I tell my customers, if a car came out of the factory for $100,000, hypothetically, if the car cost $100,000, if you bought it for $10,000, it doesn't mean that you bought a $10,000 car. You bought the $100,000 car. You just transferred the title to your name for $10,000. You got the keys and the metal. Yo! The privilege to drive the car going to cost you one paycheck at a time until you replace all the parts that build the car to be a $100,000 car. So, you know, you look at all these expensive cars, and we all want them. I can't even afford a very expensive car because, you know, I don't have the money to put $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 on a car. But you buy this car for relatively very cheap, and you're very excited, but when problems start to occur, you see that you didn't buy very cheap. You just transferred the name to your title very cheap. But the privilege to drive the car is going to be one paycheck at a time until you got to the same amount of money that the car costs, sometimes even more because the parts are more expensive. If you have to build a car like that from the ground up, it's going to cost you more than what the car cost initially. So you transfer the name to your name very cheap, but you're still driving a very expensive car, and one repair at a time will cost you to operate this car. So back to this car. I got the car inside. I said I'm going to try and see why the signal acquisition module is not working. Signal acquisition module is not the problem. When I looked at the car, and I'll show you the inside of the car, it came again with all the wiring, everything disconnected. They open everything. And as you take the key, let's take the key. Now there's supposed to be like one of the things, your car may not start, but you should have some kind of lights on the dash. And I put the key in the ignition, and I heard something happening, but nothing come on the dash. And of course, obviously it doesn't start or do anything else. Let's see if the command come on. Nope, command is not coming on too. All right, this one is working. You can turn it off, turn it on. So there is communication here. But when I connected the diagnostic socket, I did get light from the diagnostic socket on my multiplexer, but I couldn't establish any communication with nothing in the car. So everything came as no communication. Usually when there is no communication on everything, and I'm giving you a very good tip here, usually when there's no communication with anything in the car and you connect your diagnostic socket and it's just literally come back as zero communication, but you know that the diagnostics does get power, it means that probably the software that communicates between your diagnostics to the rest of the car is functioning right. The software, they call it the gateway software, the central gateway software. Some cars, the central gateway come as a module by itself, like on a 164 chassis, you can find them under the driver's seat. A lot of time people get water in the car, and because they're on the bottom of the seat, the water will destroy the signal, the central gateway module, and cut the communication with everything in the car. Sometimes the central gateway is a part of the ignition switch. Sometimes there is a different module, depending on what year and what model the car is. But the central gateway software can be located in several different places. So the first thing that usually I will check if I don't have communication is why I don't get communication. And again, we're going past the initial tests of batteries and all communication through the ports. So right now, this car is the situation where I have no lights, no communication to any module. A bunch of stuff was opened by different technician. Again, to anybody that joined me right now, this is not my work. That's not how I work. That's a very big mess, very unprofessional. I don't know what's the history of the technician that worked on that and why it got to be in this situation, but that's not how I work. So I'm not going to go through all the process of what I'm doing and keep you on the videos, because obviously, I'm a very talkative guy and I talk a lot, and probably most of you don't like to listen. You want to see more of the action. But to see what's happening, the next step that I do is I'm going to start and check my central gateway, my ignition switch. I'm going to go to the signal acquisition module and find out why the signal acquisition module not even popping up. I'm going to look at the CAN connections. There is very good chance I'm going to move the seats out and look at all the wirings underneath the seats to see if I actually get any CAN connection, any CAN communication. CAN is control area network, to anybody who doesn't know. If you don't have anything on the network, then you're not going to get on your multiplexer any communication from the modules. So I'm going to start and do electrical work on that. The next step is I'm starting to do electrical work. I'm starting to look why I don't have any communication with anything. No, I almost read. I took, somebody wrote something about what I took. But yeah, by the way, it's my channel and I can do whatever I want. And I can talk as much as I want. And if you don't want to listen, go to a different channel. Go to channels where they speed fast everything, and then you can just see what you see and maybe try to understand what you can understand from that. But on my channel, I do talk a lot, and if it's too much for you, go away. But anyway, back to that. I'm gonna go and start to check all the wiring and everything and see if I have any communication with anything. So the next step, I'm gonna get off the phone in a second, but I'm gonna take my power probe. I'm going to go to the signal acquisition module, see if actually the fuse box itself is good, and then try to start and establish communication. So before I can fix anything on this car, I got to have communication on the network. If I don't have communication on the network, obviously there's nothing. I don't even know where the problem is. So first thing that I do, try to accomplish communication. So I'm gonna go. Yeah, definitely. The same is was inside the water to Nick. The same was inside the water. There was water damage. I showed it about 10 minutes ago. There was water inside the engine compartment from not cleaning the drains on the windshield. So I'm gonna go into the signal acquisition module, try to first of all establish communication there. So we push it inside to the shop so I can have a more working. Yeah, very common, very common. One of the most common issues, and I started the video that I can't stretch about enough about cleaning all the drains all the time. You know, when we do service, one of the parts of the service that we do, whether it's service A or service B or any kind of other service, one of the first thing that we do is we make sure that the drains are always open. I don't want one of my cars, my customer, to leave the shop, get water in the computers because we didn't clean the signal acquisition, because we didn't clean the drains. So I'm gonna go get the car inside, start to open it. I will have another video when I find out why I didn't have communication. Of course, as I said, very likely that the signal acquisition module is not good, or the fuse box on the signal acquisition. But when I find out what it is, I'm gonna do another video and show you what was the process of diagnostics and how I got to the point that I found out what the problem is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the charger for now. The batteries are actually pretty good. They were at 12 volt, both of them, the starter and the supplement battery. I'm going to bring the car inside, start to go through all the wiring. I'm going to take the SEM out, make sure I got continuity from the ignition switch to the signal acquisition module, from there to the engine control unit, transmission control unit, etc., etc. And then we're going to take a look at the CAN connectors and everything else. So thanks for watching. If you've been since I started it and you listen to everything I said and you're still here, I salute you. My wife can't even listen to me that much. But appreciate you watching. If you want to get the follow-up video, don't forget to subscribe. I don't know if you're going to find my channel again if you unsubscribe now or turn it off and you don't look at the second one. So the follow-up will come. Hopefully, probably not going to be later today because we close at 4 o'clock today. It's Friday. But if it's not going to be today, it's going to be Monday where I have the follow-up. Appreciate it. Thank you, Nick. Follow up with me when I finish, when I find out what the problem, and do the YouTube on that. Have a good weekend, guys.